solving equations, but we're going to have multiple variables in the problem. Sometimes these are called literal equations. All right, so here's the good thing about literal equations, or if we're solving a problem with multiple variables. We solve them the exact same way we would solve a normal equation. So let's say we had 2x minus 5 equals 13. So what would we do to solve this? Well, first we would add 5. We would add 5 to both sides. 2x is going to equal 18. And then the second step would be to divide by 2 to isolate our variable. So x would equal 9. Now, let's say I gave another example, but instead of saying 2x, let's say I change this to ax. Instead of minus 5, we would say minus b equals c. So instead of 13, I replace it with c. We could solve this equation for x the exact same way. But now, instead of numbers, we just have an a, a b, and a c. But we can still do the exact same process. We can say plus b to both sides. Ax equals b plus c. So now we could divide by a on both sides. So once again, our steps are going to be the exact same as when we solve a normal equation. So you treat the other variables that you're not solving for, you treat them just like numbers. Except obviously, like right here, b and c aren't like terms, so we can't add those, and so on. So let's look at a couple of these, because honestly that's pretty much the steps. So let's look at a few different examples. Let's say I have a equals, let's say I've got a equals LW. So L times W. And I want to solve for W. Now, once again, I want to solve this and isolate W just like I would any other equation. So my job is to know what's happening between L and W. And if they're right beside each other, that means multiplication. So to get rid of it, to do the inverse operation, we would divide by L. So they would cancel here. So then W would equal A divided by L, and we're finished. All right, so we can even do one with multiple variables, like let's say, or even more than just 3 variables. We could do a problem with like 4 variables. Like let's say I had V equals LWH, and I want to solve for H. So solve for H. So try this one out, see if you can figure this one out. So now, once again, my job is to isolate H, and I want to get H by itself. And if all 3 of these variables, L, W, and H, are all beside each other, that means they're all being multiplied. So I could actually divide the L and the W out, and it would solve this problem. We would say H equals V over LW, and we would be finished. Like we can even go a little bit further. We can do several examples. We could say, okay, what if I say A equals pi r squared? And I want to, let's say I want to solve for r. So solve for r. I could first, once again, what's happening between pi and r? Well, it's multiplication. So I could divide by pi. I could say a over pi equals r squared, and then hopefully we remember this from the past. But the opposite of a square root of, or not a square root of 2, the opposite of an exponent 2 is the square root. So we could say r is equal to plus or minus the square root a over pi. All right, let's look at a few more, and then we'll go to some harder ones. Let's do this one real quick. What if I said m equals c minus s, and my job is to solve for c. Give that one a shot. All right, so now if we want to isolate c, my only step here is I want to get rid of minus s the opposite of minus s would be to add s. So I would say m plus s equals c, and I'd be finished. All right, so if you've noticed, once you get the hang of these, they're actually pretty quick. It's just your job to really practice. Honestly, the only reason I'm even remotely good at these is because I practiced them a lot. All right, so let's do one more, then we'll go to some harder ones. Let's say I wanted to solve for m in this problem. So how would I get rid of v? That's basically my goal, is to get rid of v. Well, m over v is m divided by v. So if I want to move v, I would multiply by v, which seems a little odd, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. We treat the variables just like their numbers. So we would say dv equals m. All right, so now let's go to a little harder, let's go to problems that are a little bit harder. So let's say I want to do a equals 1/2 bh. So here's a tip for you. If you have multi-step problems like this, some people say think of the order of operations like PIM does. Think of that, but backwards. But here's another tip. So that's the first tip. Another tip would be this. If you can go ahead and get rid of a fraction, then you may want to do that. Sometimes it's not as helpful, but in this case it would be helpful. Because if we multiply by 2, that would cancel out my fraction. And then I have 2a equals bh. And now I can try to get rid of, and I didn't even say what we were solving for. We're solving for h. All right, so now I can get rid of this b variable and get h by itself. So how would I get rid of b? What's happening between b and h? It would be multiplication. So to get rid of it, we would divide. So h is equal to 2a over b. All right, let's try another one. Let's say I have, let me find a good one. Let's say I have a equals b plus c over d. And my job is to solve for b. So for b, let's solve for b. All right, so now the first thing we need to do, this denominator is blocking the top. So we need to first multiply to get rid of the denominator. So we're going to say AD equals b plus c. So now, how would I get b by itself and get rid of this plus c? Well, the opposite of plus c would be minus c. So once again, you can see that as you get used to doing these, they actually get pretty quick. Let's do one more, because this is, a lot of times I get asked this question, like, why the heck are we even doing all this in math? And I'll give you a good example as to why. Or I like to do this example just to show you why. So this example is a really good one. AX plus BY equals C. So when you graph a line, at some point you'll do that if you haven't already. When you're graphing lines, sometimes this can actually be the setup that you get. Except A, B, and C will all be numbers. But your job is to put this in y-intercept form, or a slope-intercept form, which looks like this. Y equals mx plus b. But that's not really important right now. But essentially, to do that, we solve for y. So this is a great example of a problem that you're going to see a ton in the future. And the good thing is, pretty much isolating y in every single problem, for the most part, works the exact same way. What you end up doing is, first, we need to get rid of this ax term, so we're going to subtract ax. So then I end up with by equals negative ax plus c. And then now I want to get y by itself still. So how would I get rid of that b? I would divide it by b. And I divide the entire right side by b. So now I end up with y equals negative ax plus c over b. And actually, if we were to throw numbers in there, that would now be in slope-intercept form. So this is a great example of a problem that you will see all the time as you're going through algebra and even other math classes. So hopefully all that makes sense. Once again, the good thing for you is the steps for solving any equation apply to solving a literal equation. So your job is to really just practice and know that you can move variables the same way you can move numbers. If you're trying to like solve for y, you can treat this a, x, and c just like they're numbers, and you can move them wherever the heck you want. So that'll be it for this video. Quick and easy, and reach out if you have any questions.